We started off on our voyage in good weather, although it was very hot. After about 12 days, however, a violent tornado came from the north. The waves rose high, the skies were black, and the wind howled through the sails. 2 members of the crew were washed overboard, and after a day or 2, the ship began to leak. We changed our course and drove out of the hurricane, but the next day a second terrible storm attacked us. We could see the shore of some unknown land, but the sea was very rough. The rain dashed down, and we were afraid to approach close to the land. Our only hope was to clamber into a small boat and try to row to the shore. 4 of us managed to get the boat into the sea, and we jumped into it. We rowed with all our might, but the waves were like mountains. We struggled on, but at last, a gigantic wave, greater than all the others, hurled our little boat into the air, and it sank beneath us.
I'm a good swimmer, and for an hour and a half, I battled in that stormy sea.
As I caught sight of the coast, a huge wave would lift me up and carry me out to the sea again. Again and again, I tried to reach the shore. Again and again, I was thrown away by the raging seas. At last, I was hurled towards the shore and fell down exhausted on the sand. The night was dark without a star in the sky, and I knew that lying on the sand would be dangerous. I crawled away from the sea as fast as I could and came to some bushes and trees. I didn't know what wild animals there would be in the forest, so I climbed up one of the trees and made myself comfortable between 2 great branches. There I slept the night as well as I could. In the morning, I looked out across the sea, and there was our ship a quarter of a mile away from the shore. I came down the tree and found a stream where I drank some of the cool, fresh water. I lay down and slept again. The sun was high in the sky when I woke up. I resolved to go out to the ship and to try and bring back some things which would be useful to me on the island. I plunged into the sea and made for the ship. At last, after a hard swim, I managed to reach it and discovered a rope hanging over the side. With great difficulty, I pulled myself up the rope and reached the deck. The storm had damaged everything. There were broken masts and torn sails and pieces of rope all over the ship. I went down into the cabins and found an axe. On deck again, I cut the masts and ropes and made myself a small raft. I managed to get this raft into the sea and tie it to the vessel with a rope. I found some of the seamen's boxes on board and filled them with stores, bread, rice and cheese. I also found some clothes which I piled onto the raft, and having found a broken oar, I cast off from the vessel and started for the shore. When I reached the sand, I carried the things up onto dry land. The next morning, I walked along the shore and up a little hill. From there, I could see that I was on an island. I was a prisoner without a friend in the world. There was no one living on the island but wild beasts. The next day, I went back across the sea and brought more stores from the ship. Every day I toiled. I brought tools, wood, rope, nails, sails and clothes, and sugar and flour and bread. In one of the wooden boxes, I found gold and silver coins. The sunshine made them sparkle. "What use are you to me?" I asked. "Everyone in the world desires you but me." When I got back to my island, I noticed that the sky was black. Great clouds rolled up from the west. The rain poured down. I saw the ship out at sea rise and then sink beneath a huge wave. During the next few months, I busied myself in making a house with a strong stockade round it. I used one of the sails from the ship for the roof. I cut down tree trunks and carried them to the house and slowly built a strong stockade to keep out wild animals. The months passed in hard work, and one day I set out to explore the whole island. The journey took me 3 days, and when I got to the other side of the island, I found a delightful valley. There were wild grapes and limes, and I collected a quantity of these and took them back to my house. One day, in the forest not far from my house, I found some wild goats. I picked up a baby goat and carried it home with me. In a few days, it became quite tame, and after that, it never left my side. After a year or 2 on the island, I decided to make a small boat. I chose the wood carefully and cut and worked the timber for many months. I made a sail from some of the canvas I had brought on shore from the ship, and with a good wind, the boat sailed well. I taught myself how to make pots out of mud, and how to make them hard and durable by burning them. I grew some corn and rice, and also some wheat, and I taught myself to make bread. My life on the island was a happy one. I had a good house, plenty to eat, and plenty of work to do. One day, I was walking along the seashore thinking about my home across the seas, when I suddenly looked down. There, on the sand in front of me, was a clear footprint. It was not mine, but the footprint of another man.